Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Soul Love, and today I'm very excited to share the beautiful energies of my soul sister Teresa Warren, and I welcome you everyone listening, and Teresa, welcome into this sacred space. I'm super excited that you're here, and I really love your background with the beautiful lotus and the chakra points and the crown. Yes, it's really beautiful. A couple of weeks ago, I got a beautiful Akashic Records reading of you, and I love how you are so connected to, you get all these mystical things and all these beautiful images and like vibrant energy. So I'm very excited to share that with all the souls listening and tuning into this beautiful episode. So maybe you want to share a little bit about how you came into that path, or was that something you already did when you were little, or how?
Yeah, that's an amazing story. But I want to congratulate you and honor everyone you've brought into the space, including your audience, including your guest, because what you built, I can feel that beautiful glowing, it's like golden healing energy. And so like that's master healer level stuff, So
Yes.
I love what you brought in. But myself, oh yeah, no way. I never knew I had a psychic bone in my body. There's things you could look at through my life. I was always interested in mystical things, but I was Jehovah's Witness, and that's all shunned. Okay,
Yes.
you can't even read a
wow.
book about anything. You can't do anything. And so going along my merry way, and then I'm still hearing things that intrigue me, and actually Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot. I mean, all these kind of things are pulling me. And then I swear, when I read a book, I can feel like I'm there. Okay.
Yes.
And so then I'd start actually tapping into past lives without realizing it. Who knew? But then there you go, living your life. I was very reactionary all my life. It took a long time. But I was listening to Cry On, channeled by Lee Carroll. And then I was listening to Abraham, channeled through
Esther
Hicks.
Yes.
Yeah, Esther.
Yes.
And so it was like a balance between the two.
Yeah.
And I was listening to them. And finally, it's like, it's neat for all them light workers. They have really neat. And then I started realizing, you know what? Maybe because I'm so interested,
Yes.
maybe I could be a light worker too, maybe. And I describe myself as an untapped healer because I could feel that energy. But like I said, none of that stuff was promoted or encouraged.
Oh, wow.
Until we got online. My daughter was going into online school, and so we got a computer in the house, and then started getting on Facebook, and people was putting pictures of crystals, and it's like, oh my God, this is my home. This is it. And I'm loving it and falling in love. I'm getting crystals, so the energy is raising and raising. And then I see a video with Emily Harrison, who was just starting the Akashic Academy at that time. And it's like, past lives. Oh my God, that's the stuff I've been loving all my life, old books and it was so exciting. So she gifted me that course on my birthday.
Wow,
about
what a gift.
years ago. It wasn't that long ago. And I ate it up in 3 weeks. It's supposed to take 3 months.
Yes,
but
your
it's like,
soul knew.
Whoa, look at this.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I was like,
yes,
sucking it in, man. And it was the coolest. My life has changed since then, because even after I knew how to read the Akashic records, I still didn't think I was psychic. I just thought, oh, I know how to read the records. No big deal. Because everybody in my class seems so multi-talented. And I was like, oh my God, look at the people I'm hanging with. They could see angels and things. And then from there, that happened. Somebody was giving me an angel reading, and if I had any questions, well, my only question is, I want to see and do that too.
Yes,
And so
I
the
love that.
angels themselves put me through classes. They told me to, when I get up in every morning, just free channel, just sit there and channel.
Yes.
They said 10 minutes. I thought, okay, cool, I can do that. Okay, 40 minutes later,
I love that.
blowing that pin,
Yes, yes.
and I didn't know how amazing that was. And then here I am. The angels are teaching me how to channel them. And by the third day, I was like, this is too incredible. I got to share this with people. And they're like, about time you asked, as if
Yeah.
3 days in was a long time. But really, it was all about me accepting and allowing
Yes.
and stuff. So
Wow.
I consider my awakening was still in 2012, even though I always was interested. And
Yes.
so I still feel like a newbie compared to everybody. You
Yes.
hear everybody's stories and stuff. And I've only been reading the Akashic Records for about certified, maybe about 5 or 6 years now. But man,
Wow.
that changes your life when you're in the
It
Akashic
does.
Records.
Yes.
All potential, everything, and they show me things. And here, like we talked before, it's not that I'm necessarily clairvoyant. I have a strong, empath. I have a strong clairsentience. And then there's the claircognizance, which who would have thought I could have ever had any of that? But claircognizance comes in, and it's all vibrations to me until I match it. And it's like, there. Now that's where I get my picture that I describe to people. It's like, I don't know why they're showing me this, but I got to share it before we can go on to the next. So it's incredible. The things I've learned. Like one woman, I'm sitting there looking at a different past life of hers, and I could tell this is a different dimension. This may not even be Earth, or it's a alternate. And I'm looking at it, and there's this little girl on a tricycle riding around all by herself. It is like a lonely time of day. She's on the sidewalk, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at this little girl, but it's not you. I mean, what is this? But the little girl was talking to herself. So this lady was actually simultaneously incarnate here and being a spirit guide, or one of those, invisible friends to this little girl. And it's like, wow. So the things you learn there, it's like, oh my God, it's all so beautiful.
But it's also in just these couple of minutes of you sharing, there are so many things so many beautiful things. Because the first thing is, I love your wonder, because it is like your childlike wonder, your childlike enthusiasm, your childlike openness that activates things. It's like you're constantly surprised and amazed about what you see, and by that it's almost like it opens up things for you. And I didn't knew like your starting background. It's amazing that from that state you are where you are now. But what an initiation is that, to break free from those limiting beliefs or limitations in a way, and to really open yourself up, and to also allow yourself to go after these interests. Because I truly believe, I see it with myself and with everyone around me, like the thing we're here to bring, we always have these interests, but they're like community puts things on us, but you followed your inspiration, you followed like this guidance that said, and then beautiful things come on your path. I love that, like you seeing crystals online, and then it just, but it's following that joy, and that you do that so beautifully. But I think that's a message for everyone. When we follow our joy, this path of joy, more opens up and more magic opens up, and it's really amazing. Yeah, but and also beautiful. Yes,
I have a couple of examples for you, even before I woke, to show you how the magic and things were already working for me.
Yes.
Okay, we were at a place called SeaWorld in California. That's where I grew up. And it's where you got, whales and dolphins and squid and, all kinds of cute things. Yes. And anyway, I'm a big dolphin lover. It's like, oh my God. So it's actually at the end and we're leaving, but on the way to the parking lot, they have a couple of big pools for dolphins. And I see these kids come running in, and as they run around these things and touch their hand in the water, the dolphins would go and jump to them. So I was over there mega jealous. Like, oh my God, how do they do that? It was so bad that I stopped one of them and asked, how do you guys do that?
Yes.
And they go, they know us. They know us.
Yes.
We come every day. We live right down the street. We got passes. It's like, oh man, how am I going to duplicate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I reached into my heart and I pulled out the part of me actually that loves to go around elderly people and like, oh, you beautiful soul, and you listen to their stories. Okay, I pulled on that part of me for this ultimate joy and got my smile so hot and warm. And I went and put my hand and they came to me.
That's amazing.
So it's true, all the things you're saying about your heart.
Yeah.
Another time, if you know about, oh, I can't even think of what these flowers are. Irises.
Yes.
If you disturb an iris one year, like you're transplanting it, it won't necessarily bloom that year, but the next year it will, because they don't like to be disturbed and stuff. Well, anyhow, my grandma had passed, and I had taken up a bunch of the roots, bulbs, because it's like, oh, my grandma, I just want to remember. So I planted them and they're starting to grow. One had like one leaf poking out of the ground, and it was right before her funeral. And I tell that plant, I go, yours just so beautiful, just if you would bloom for my grandma one more time.
I get goosebumps.
Oh my God. Yep. 2 days later, I remember it, and that's the day we're going. And I walk outside, and I don't know if I expected. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I just wanted to be close to her, and I just went out to be with her flowers. And boom, there was one fully bloomed. I never even seen it be in the pod or anything. It's like, how did that even happen? So yeah, following your heart with that enthusiasm and wonder, it does open the doors, like you say, and like, ooh, who knew?
But it's also a beautiful confirmation of that when we really are in this wonder and just the heartfelt enthusiasm, magical things happen. It's like we all hold this superpower. So it's not. So it's also a beautiful reminder that everyone can do this, but it's in this space of no expectations, just from your hearts, pouring love in this beautiful flower, and then magic starts to happen. And also in physical form. I also love that because it's like we can have magical experiences when we're in meditation or but it's like physical world interacting with you, like the dolphin coming your way and the flower rising up. So I think that's very beautiful.
It was all pretty trippy to me. But then later on, after my awakening and after I'm having mentors and I'm starting to understand, it's kind of the law of attraction, but it's really, I guess it's fully and it's embracing all of that. So
and embracing who you are, because I also love in your story you said, oh, I can be a light worker, but we are all in a way light workers, especially when you're tuning into this podcast. But it's and I love that in your journey it's finding the way that enthusiasts you. It's finding the way that is uniquely to you, because we can have, and I think that sometimes we can have this image. Okay, so I need to be a light worker like everyone in the world, or like famous people, but we can already bring light in magical ways just by being ourselves in our communities, and that is sometimes even more powerful because it comes from this centeredness within ourselves, this pureness. And I think this time is really also for me inviting us to really come in this authentic space, really like stop looking outside of ourselves for like being a copy of someone else or thinking someone else is more important, or it's a huge paradigm break. I think right now we're all being invited to really embody who we are, and you do that so beautifully just with sparkling light. But it also is a beautiful example that when you are this, just have this wonder energy, or in this questioning energy, or the openness when things come on your path, like the curiosity to then move forward with it, beautiful things open up. And I think that's a beautiful message for this time, especially like for me, the transition where we are in from the 12th of December till the 21st. It's like really we are being faced with so many things, but it's all inviting us to connect with ourselves and with,
Isn't it?
Yes,
Isn't it amazing how we're so supported? I mean, that was another first thing I had to learn. Okay, because from my background, I was one of those suicidal teenagers. Okay, so you can imagine my household, and so anyway, little me being so disruptive. I'm sorry, but no, and so from that, once I learned to talk to the angels, one of my first questions was, well, where were you when I was sitting there and feeling like this? And you know what the answer was? They showed me feeling the way I was, and they showed me them around. I was in such a lockdown state of not allowing that even if they tried anything, I wouldn't have recognized it or I would have rejected it. And so I look back, it's like, oh my God, I was always supported and I never knew it. So that's one thing I want to show people is man, there's such a massive support team. There's layers and layers. Like, dude, how many angels do we have? Some say 2, some say this. You know what? We have, as soon as you call them, they're there. That's what we have, you know, and the planets and those things, now that I've been studying them and stuff, it's like everything about them. Sure, it's like, oh no, Mercury retrograde again, or oh no, Mars is in retrograde. It's like every one of these things is designed to help us making the next move, whether we need to come to a stop or whether we need to get moving. Dealing with the past or dealing with, you're not looking at the big picture. It's so amazing, all the support that we have to be who we are. It's like,
And I love your story in that, because it's like you show how the universe is constantly giving you opportunities to awaken to your light. And but it's what would you advise people that are in a situation where you were in as a teenager? Because I think a lot of people, maybe not in that situation, but it's like we, as the vibration of the earth is rising, we are also, our vibration rises, and that can bring really deep rooted trauma up, or like fear or stress response. What would you advise, like yourself in that situation now, seen from what you all have discovered? Or
I've seen the same answer from some of your other guests, so it's not to be the same thing, but you know, the most important thing that would have been for me back then, and it was the lesson I had a chance to learn, right? And even when you don't learn your lesson, that's okay. It's just a longer path that you're on till I was 47. So anyway, the truth of everything I needed to learn was to trust myself, because I really came in with enough amazing stuff. You know, maybe nobody else was entertained by the things that I was wondering about, but boy, it sure kept my attention. You know, I didn't have to feel bad. I didn't have to take on, especially the guilt, like if I'd done something wrong, well, I'm terrible. I would go down into self-loathing and everything. That's how bad it was, cutting the whole works. But the truth is, I was really calling for the God in me, the goddess in me. I didn't even know how, but see, had I trusted myself more, I don't think I would have listened. Like, okay, that's my mom's opinion, right? It's not who I am. I believed that when she was mad at me, that it was the same thing as hating me. Okay, now that I've grown up and had my own children, I understand that's not the case. You could be mad without hating. But so see, I had a different way of processing things in ways that would trust myself the most. I think that would have changed everything for me. And I don't mourn it, because it's like, okay, my path was still interesting. I still went to all my concerts. I still had so much fun. But trusting myself. And when I learned to read the Akashic Records, that's also another thing. Probably you understand this too. When you're starting to see the psychic things and understand, the first thing you go to is, oh, that's my imagination. It's like, that can't be real. Like Metatron doesn't come right up to you. It's like, you know, and you put yourself in doubt, and you can reason yourself right out of anything. But the truth is, our imagination, our feelings, our intuition, all these things are the triggers, or like cat whiskers, you know, that the cat can feel things. They're all our different ways of feeling and getting our messages. And so to trust that, no matter if you're new and going through troubled times, or whether you're old and you need a reminder, it's just,
it doesn't
trusting.
matter. And I think also trusting when you are listening, like people listening to this, there are so many keys in it, and you're also here for a reason, because it's like it's inviting you to listen to the wonders in yourself, but also to listen to what brings you joy and the little sparks that are there. But also the Akashic Records, I know within my own journey, one time when I was still practicing, I had one session and there was only silence. Well, my ego mind finds so many things about it. I thought, why isn't something coming? And it's only silence. And in the end, they shared like what this person needed that I did a reading for was silence in everything. So it was so aligned, but we can then, our ego mind can create all these limiting beliefs about it, or the judgment about why isn't anything coming, or why it's like, It's an interesting journey of trusting our intuition and trusting our vision and our dreams, but also when nothing comes, indeed, that maybe it's sometimes time for a stop. That's also something we haven't been taught. I'm very motivated and I like to work with the speed of light, but sometimes it's also the universe inviting me to halt. And it's okay, trusting the also like almost like the birthing process, when you don't see something happening, but it's already creating, and then yeah.
Oh yeah, that's so beautiful. I did have something I was going to say, but I forgot it already. I got excited about the birthing and stuff.
It will come again, yeah. But it's within the Akashic records. It's like, but with all intuitive work, it's trusting what we receive and then not judging, because we have so been taught to judge. And I think that's also something like we are all being asked to break, also from growing up, our parents or our community, our schools, putting all these judgments on top of us that have, in a way, dimmed our light. But I truly believe in one way it's also activate our light, because at one point we come into this place where we feel this is not our truth, and I know there's more. It's like this little seed that is growing within us and that is poking us from within, like, okay, what I experience, it doesn't fulfill me. I know there's more to life. And then so
that's the magic right there. That's my favorite place to be.
Yes. Yeah, because it asks us to go search for something, and then the journey unfolds and more things open up. But it's like that little spark, and sometimes it's not fun to be in that space, but sometimes something needs to happen, or something needs to feel, so that you feel now I've reached my point that I really want to change. I also see that with people I work with. Sometimes it's like, okay, they don't want to change, and that is fine, because they still need to learn something. But when we really are ready to change, you will feel, this is my boundary, I have had it, I'm done. And then but it's a feeling that we need to feel from inside, and
it's actually empowering at that moment too.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. Because we see the contrast, and that is also part of this earthly journey, like the opposites and balancing them both. And but I love, like, you're also doing like guidance with the angels and card readings, and I love how you, in your magical way, mix all these different things and create. But
it can't be normal. And I think it is unique, because that's something weird. Oh man. Okay. So a thing about the depression that I learned now. Okay. First, you become a light worker, and you start reading the Akashic records, and you start healing people, and you start learning EFT tapping. You learn all these coping mechanisms. I became a life coach so that I could help even more people. And then the first time depression came back to me, I was so shocked. How could this happen? Does this mean I'm not really anything? Or, I fell into it and I collapsed. And the truth is, after a couple of years of, okay, I guess it's just going to come back every now and then. Now I've listened. It's not for me. I mean, everybody's case is different. For me, what I have to do when a depression comes in is that means it's time for me to stand still, to stop. And it's hard to come to a stop. You actually have to plan it in advance. Like, okay, I'm not going to do any work, because when you stop doing your everyday work, well, then there's all the other work that we're not getting to. And so there's like layers and layers. So it takes a while. And when I finally come to a stop, I tried to make it, but man, I just had to take a nap. What else could I do? And stopping that much, I let everything go. And that's when the angels downloaded to me my very first angel blessing reading, which was 12 cards at the time. It's grown and worked into different things. But that's when they showed it to me. They showed me the whole layout. They gave me each card positions, meaning, and what cards to pull. And it was like amazing. So now when I get depressed, because I'm not getting depressed over reasons, right? It'd be more like seasonal or hormonal or whatever. Okay. So those kind of things are not the same as, oh, you just need to get out in nature. Well, maybe if I would have went out in nature and stopped, that would have been cool. But for me, it's not trying to fix it.
No,
it's letting it go, letting it be, and learning what comes out of it, because there's such beauty that's just about to be there. It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's a signal. I noticed that like we all have these signals that ask us to stop because something new is being birthed. And when we really, I love that
Yes.
when you take a nap, I think also this time of the year, for me, winter solstice is also a moment of really stopping, where as a business owner, you always think, oh no, I need to be visible. I need to create content. I need to do everything. But it's no, the power is in resting, taking naps sometimes, and just coming back into your own sculpture so that you can honor the cycles. It's almost like, okay, the winter time going within, and we have these cycles not even with the seasons, but also quicker within our own evolutionary journeys. And then in the springtime, in the summer, we can come up. So it's your angel. So you took time to rest, being in the winter, and inspiration came up, and then the creation came, and that is summer. But it's honoring the cycles of our lives, of our creations, and of our and not judging. Also, when we feel like, okay, we're going into a
that's
we're going into rest, or not judging that part.
Yeah, that's so important, and not judging. But I've studied a lot about winter in the north, because I'm a Capricorn. So this coming up new moon is starting, my Capricorn season, and I in my past I never resonated with it, but now that I'm busy and doing things, in the energy work here, now I can understand. But so I studied the north, and because that's on a medicine wheel. January is like in the north. And so what that's winter is really all about is like, it's like coming to such a sacred death, being held deep within the womb, stopping while the whole world is getting ready for you to come back, and bursting and coming out, sending those roots down and spreading out those leaves, So it's a beautiful time.
And I love that as well. Like also, but I think that's where I'm doing like a round of Egyptian temples, and now we had the temple where also it is like the Isis temple, that supports you through the journey of death and rebirth, because it's constantly, but we're so afraid sometimes to, death is not like physical death. It's like letting go of the things that do not serve us, and letting go of all the attachments so that the new can open. It's almost like closing one door so that a magical new door can open. But we're so attached sometimes through, oh, I want to hold on to this, even if it's not fun anymore, even if it's or it doesn't serve me, but it's like letting go.
Isn't that wild?
So that, I love that. And that's also this time. It's like, okay, let go, come back into your own cocoon, strengthen your light, and bring that up in magical ways. But also like what I also like about this time of the year, it's like really this is a time to let go so you can be reborn, refreshed in your highest way when spring comes, and when this new cycle of rebirth comes. And it's but it's also us being willing to really be not attached. So from a detachment, letting parts of ourselves die so that we can really fully awaken in springtime. Because if we hold on to certain things, it's like, okay, we can't really fully be rebirthed in this magical. But it's also honoring that it's tough. Like sometimes it's tough to let go. Sometimes it's tough to detach from things we have so hard worked for. But and that is what I really love about, and I think it's beautiful that it's now being shared, your journey as well. Like if you see what you shared about your life path, the universe has constantly supported you. But sometimes there were moments where you probably would thought, oh no, I'm not ready to let go, or why is this happening? But then again and again, you followed and you let go of certain things, and by that you rebirthed in springtime and summer, and more magical summers came by you detaching from the old, detaching from what is not working. And I think that's also like a shift that is happening. Like we are so, our ego mind likes to keep things the same, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it gives us pain, but it's letting go of that. It's letting go of these. And that, I think also the raising of the vibration. It is a big lesson. These are really mastery things in 3D forms. It's mastering our energy work, mastering our being, and but we are all doing it in our own way. And I think it's also honoring where we are, that it's perfectly aligned where we are, and in each and every moment we have a choice. I think that's also important. So
Yes, and that choice is to trust yourself.
Yes, it is.
In that moment, trust yourself to that what you know is what you need, and you got it. And
even if the rest of the world has a different vision, trust your instinct. This time is about trusting your instinct, trusting what you feel in your heart. And Yeah.
I did. I got a message from the Arcturians a couple of months ago, and like I could feel a few of them moving in. They were here. Man, it was like the coolest thing. And so anyway, they were giving me a message, and I was trying to make it a meditation, but it didn't work out. But the truth is that these times that they can be confusing.
Yes.
Do you do this? Do you do that? Everything is so divided right now, and okay, that's going to be how it is, because this is how things shift. It's not always pretty when we make the next shift, but what will help each and every one of us more than anything is coming back to you and what you know, because your favorite person you listen to is like, oh no, they did what, and how could they, and okay, no, it's not. Sure, have the people that inspire you and be excited, but when it comes to your truth, know your truth. Feel the energy of yourself, your blueprint, your like flower of life and stuff. Get to the essence, and that's what's going to help you make it through whatever happens.
Yes. And that's the most important thing. Centering in yourself, creating this strong foundation connected to your intuition. That is it. Because the world, like the more consciousness rises, also the opposites will be more awake, will be more visible.
Glaring,
yeah. I love this message because it's so important. And even like with this podcast, trust the little bits and pieces that resonate with your heart. You don't have to take all that we're sharing as truth. It's coming back to your truth. And with everything you listen to, follow the words that resonate, follow the little teachings that resonate, but don't follow blindly into one path, because it's your unique mix. And I think that's the important message for now, really trusting your heart, coming back to, okay, maybe it's just one word I needed to hear, or one inspiration, or one,
it's true.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got chills. That was good.
But it's also the most difficult thing, because it's like we have not been taught, like also mainstream has taught us, okay, this is the way it is, so we need to follow what everyone does. But what is the norm? The norm is now becoming who you are and creating your own norm instead of norms that are created outside of you. And I think, but I think this is a beautiful message to share and to end this podcast with, because it's like becoming who you are. And I think you're such a beautiful example of that. And what is the best way if people want to work with you? What is the best way they can find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, and so Teresa Warren on Facebook. I do a show called Spirit Sessions, A View of the Light, but if you message me there, I may or may not get it. My other thing is I have a business email now with no capitals, Teresa Warren Empath @gmail.com.
But otherwise, if you
mostly on Facebook.
Yes, that's great. Yeah, that's really great. Thank you for sharing your magic, sharing your beautiful, inspiring story, and sharing your light, coming back to following your intuition, to stand in the space where you are now, to inspire others to do the same. So thank you for who you are.
Thank you. Thank you.
And everyone listening, thank you for who you are, and stay centered in yourself. Follow your heart, follow in your guidance, your intuition, and even if it invites you to rest, take that nap, because you are worthy of it. And that's really an important message for now. So for now, much love, and I'll see you in the next Soul Love podcast. Bye. Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.